now live and we're now recording, so it's half.
I think it's 7:30, so we'll make a start. Right. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Hythe Ferrers Town Council virtual meeting. There are a few housekeeping rules to note. As with meetings in the town hall, members of the public will be given the opportunity to speak during the public participation, but will not be permitted to speak at other times, and their microphones will be muted. The clerk has the ability to mute or remove anybody who does cause a nuisance, but of course we hope that this won't be necessary. It is impossible to hear if everyone speaks at once, so that we have some order. I'd be grateful if you would speak one at a time and raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Voting will be by raising of hand. This meeting is being recorded. The first item on the agenda are apologies. Have we to receive and accept apologies for absence?
I've got apologies from Councillor Anna Saunton, Councillor Derek Lawson and Councillor David Hamblin.
Thank you. The second item on the agenda are declarations of interest. To receive declarations of disposable pecuniary interests and other interests and the nature of those interests relating to items on the agenda. Has anybody got anything they'd like to declare? Councillor Jackson?
Couldn't hear him.
You're still on mute, Councillor Jackson.
Sorry about that. I hadn't looked at that. Item 14.1, grant application for tourism. I'm a member of tourism, so therefore I need to declare an interest.
Thank you. Councillor Whiting?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, item 4, number 2 for the cricket club as the family of members of the cricket club.
Thank you very much, Councillor Whiting. Anybody else has anything that they wish to declare? Right, thank you. Item 3 on the agenda are the minutes, and it's 3.1 to approve and sign as a correct record the minutes of the meeting held on the 24th of November 2020, which is on pages 1 to 3 in your agenda pack. Right, have you all had a chance to go through the minutes? Thank you.
Move they be signed, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor O'Rourke. And all those in favour that I sign these, please show hands. Right, thank you. Thank you. And 3.2 is to approve and sign as the correct record the minutes of the extraordinary meeting held on the 11th of January 2021. The copy is on pages 9 to 11 in your agenda pack. Has everybody had a chance to look through these minutes? Right. Can I sign these as a true record? Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Gardner. All those in favour, would you please show hands? Thank you. Councillor Prigmore, are you saying? Right, thank you. Right, thank you. Item 4 on the agenda is the public forum, to allow any member of the public to address the meeting for a period of no longer than 3 minutes each. The item raised by the member of the public is, if the item raised by the member of the public is not on the agenda, the clerk will advise how the issue will be followed up. No decisions can be taken under this item. We have got a member of the public. It's Hilary or Rebecca. Do you wish to speak?
Yes, please.
Right, thank you. You may go ahead now then.
Thank you. Good evening. We live in Bede Close, and in March we asked if we would be able to remove the hedge between our property and that of our neighbours, and replace a small fence between the two driveways with another at the back. We have had difficulty maintaining the hedge due to its size and are also concerned that the roots are lifting the paving on our drives and might damage my water meter, which is about a foot away. After several months, we were dismayed to hear that there should be access through this point from the close to the greenway. Nothing was mentioned regarding access when the greenway was introduced. And it's very disappointing that it has only just been brought to our notice that there should be access when we were asked to remove the hedge. We believe it will be detrimental to the residents in the close to have this access opened. We regularly have people going up and down the greenway on motorbikes and fear that they will use this access as well. So with just one way into the close, it is a safe place for children, residents' children. People have forced their way through between the garage and the hedge, damaging our neighbour's vehicle on several occasions, hence the wheelie bins being placed there. This section of greenway already has 4 access points, which we feel is sufficient. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda are the Mayor's announcements. So it's to receive a verbal report from the Mayor. This is the Mayor's report, January 2021. As we are once again in lockdown, I haven't got very much to report. However, I would like to ask that my December report that was circulated by email just before Christmas be filed with this month, as it contained a lot of thank yous with regard to the town's Christmas decorations. On January the 3rd, with the help of Councillor Gardner, I removed all of the bollard covers and bunting. And I have to say, it was much quicker to remove them than it was putting them up. Many people stopped to say how they had enjoyed the yarn bombing and the return of the Christmas tree. Some asked if it would be done again this year. And I'm afraid I use that quite often used parental phrase, you'll have to wait and see. So I haven't made any commitment, but I know that a lot of people would like to see it again. Along with thanking Councillor Gardner for joining me with this task, I must also thank Councillor Jackson for overseeing the removal of the Christmas trees and for also taking down the baubles and angels from 2 trees in the market square. So thank you to everybody. Thank you for listening. Item 6 on the agenda are the Town Clerk's report. To receive and note the Town Clerk's report, which is on pages 12 to 14 in your agenda pack. Has anybody got any comments that they wish to make or questions that they wish to ask Sandra?
Can I just add, it has been clarified with the Highways Officer, Sarah Barnwell, that they still have got the Puffing Crossing on their radar to investigate design and possible costs during the next year. There was a rumour going around that it wasn't even going to be considered, but that's not correct. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Right, thank you. Has anybody got any questions? So would somebody like to propose that we receive the Town Clerk's report? Councillor Prigmore? And would somebody like to second it? Councillor Gardner, and all those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, thank you. Item 7 on the agenda, questions. An opportunity for councillors to ask questions pursuant to Standing Order 9. Questions must be related to business of the Town Council and not be related to items of business on the agenda. Every question shall be put and answered without discussion. Has anybody got any questions that they'd like to put forward? Right, thank you very much. Item 8 on the agenda is reports of representatives to other bodies. To receive reports from councillors on meetings that they have attended as representatives to other bodies. Councillor Gardner, I believe you wish to report something here.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'd like to report that Councillor Jackson and I attended JAG. The police are going to remain priorities are going to be the antisocial behaviour, and that especially at this time surrounds COVID. Again, a message from police to when you see these antisocial gatherings, when the numbers are too much, i.e. the skate park, etc., please either phone it in or do it on their website, so the area can be highlighted and police can be drafted there as and when needed. And again, it's the same old principle. The more red dots on the screen, the more police attention we're going to get. So if we can spread the message far and wide when we see these incidents, to report them, please. As the clerk has already stated, Sarah Barnwell from Highways was at the JAG meeting. And as you've just heard, the crossing is still under investigation and will be looked at in due course. And none of the rumours are true that this isn't happening. So that was, in a nutshell, everything that happened in JAG. But if Councillor Jackson would like to add anything, I will ask him. Councillor Jackson?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. On Saturday evening at 6 o'clock, PCSO Stephanie Bacon and I did a socially distanced walk around Higham. This seems to be a time at 6 o'clock in the evening where youths are gathering, and it was an opportunity to see what was going on, and we're trying to do it at different times to gauge what is going on. One of the things that has been noted that has come down from the PCSOs and the police at this moment is it is not necessarily school-aged children. The youths that are gathering, specifically on the skateboard park, are 20 years old and above. They are not necessarily youths. So again, a message from PCSO, please, if we're ever to have more and extra police in our area, please can we push the message to report on all incidences. PCSO is also making sure she is keeping up contacts with the schools at this time, so the schools can do their bit to send out emails to make sure that all students should be in schools, at home, and registered on their laptop or learning device. So this, again, a positive message from the schools to help making sure that children are where they're meant to be. And I'm glad to say that our PCSO is now fit, well and healthy and spending as much time as she can in Higham. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Gardner.
Would you mind if I just added on the COVID breaches?
No, that's fine.
They are issuing COVID tickets now, and they have to explain why, if there has been a breach, they've not issued a ticket.
Okay, thank you. Right, item 9 on the agenda. Reports from district councillors and county councillor to receive written reports from the district councillor and county councillor, but we haven't actually received any written reports this month, have we?
No.
No. Right, thank you. Item 10 on the agenda is finance, and 10.1 is to approve accounts for payment as 22nd of December 2020 and 26th of January 2021, which are on pages 15 and 16 in your agenda pack. Has anybody got any questions that they would like to ask about these? Right, would somebody like to propose that we approve these accounts, please? Thank you, Councillor Gardner. Seconded by Councillor Redding. Thank you. And all those in favour, will you please show your hands? All right, thank you. And 10.2 is to approve the bank account reconciliations as at the 31st of December 2020. Has everybody had the opportunity to see these? Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Whiting. You're on mute, Councillor Whiting. Thank you.
I have checked them, Madam Mayor, and they're both correct. I've got both months here for December and January, and I'll sign them and put them back through the town hall door.
Thank you. Seconded, please, for that. Thank you, Councillor Gardner. And all those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, thank you. Right, and 10.3 is to receive and note the budget report as at the 31st of December 2020, which is on pages 17 to 21 in your agenda pack. Have anybody got any questions about the budget report? In that case, would somebody like to propose that we receive and note the budget report? Thank you, Councillor Whiting. Seconded, Councillor Thomas. And all those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, thank you. Right, item 11 on the agenda are committee meetings. And 11.1 is to receive and adopt the minutes of the following committees. The Planning and Development Committee held on the 8th of December 2020, which is on pages 22 to 23 in your agenda pack. Councillor Gardner, you're going to present these minutes to us.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Yes, to receive the minutes of the Planning and Development Committee held on Tuesday, the 8th of December, please. Have a seconder on that, please. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to take you straight down to 5.1, which is planning. And this is 20/01391, which is the single story side extension at 48 Saffron Road, Heigham Ferries. And it was resolved that no comments or objections be made. The next one down is 20/01547/FUL, which was the change of use of land to football pitch and exercise training area, including groundworks to remove soil bunds and level playing pitch area. Sand top pitch followed by seeding and laying out of pitch area at land adjacent to Newton Road, Heigham Ferries. And it was resolved that no comments or objections be made. 5.2 is a list of determinations resolved. And also you have there the tree works decisions as well. Item number 6 was the vehicle activation sign at Station Road. And this was to consider suggestion for vehicle activation sign on Station Road. And it resolved that the council looked to purchase a solar powered vehicle activation sign, which shows the actual speed of the vehicle was travelling. That the sign be portable so it can be moved between locations on the approach roads into the town. That funding is to be sought and the sign, sorry, it's all right, I just lost internet. Am I still with you guys?
Yes.
Everywhere, everything went black. Sorry, I'll go from the sign, that the sign be portable so it can be moved between locations on the approach roads into the town. The funding is sought to meet the costs of the sign with approaches. I'm losing connection. Can you still hear me? Because I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, we
carry
can
on.
hear you.
Okay, I'll just carry on, so I apologise. And it was from the scheme of the Fire and Crime Commissioner's Community Road Safety Fund. And the next meeting was on the 12th of January. And are there any questions before I move adoption? Councillor Prigmore.
The item 6, I take it that if it's portable, then it means that somebody has got to be with it for all the time that it is being used. And how do we, have you looked into how a portable one will be moved about?
Sandra, do you want to?
I know the assistant clerk is actually looking in, but when we say portable, we mean it's fixed to a post and then it can be moved to another
Location. Yeah.
But obviously we haven't made a decision to purchase yet because there is lots of things we are looking in for existence. We can't put them on an existing lamppost that is owned by the county. Health and safety issues come when you have a portable. So once we have all the information, it will need to come back to committee and council for a decision on how we proceed on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
In that case, please may I move adoption of the minutes? Seconder. Thank you very much. All those in favour? Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. And 11.2 is Planning and Development Committee held on the 12th of January 2021, which is on pages 24, 25 in your agenda pack. And again, Councillor Gardner, would you mind presenting these minutes to us?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. To receive the Planning and Development Committee minutes, 12th of January. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you very much. Okay, again, I'm going to take you straight down to 5.1, which starts the planning, which is 20/01557/FUL, which is part demolition of existing UPVC conservatory, new pitch style story rear extension in place of existing conservatory, loft conversion involving the raising of eaves and ridge height, new roof lights, new patio doors to existing window opening on the northern and eastern elevation, new parking space provision at 8 Saffron Road. And it resolved that the council make no objections or comments. 20/01627/FUL, which was the demolition of existing garage and construction of a new single-storey side extension at 20 Wycombe Road, Hythe Ferries. That council make no comments or objections. Next one is 20/01598/FUL, which was the single-storey rear extension at 5 Townsend Lees, Hythe Ferries. That no comments or objections be made. Next one is 20/01630/FUL, which was the barn conversion to workshop, gym and annex, including internal and external alterations at 19 College Street, Hythe Ferries. Resolved that the council make no comments or objections. 20/01631, that's LBC, barn conversion to workshop, gym and annex, including internal and external alterations at 19 College Street, Hythe Ferries. Resolved that council make no comments or objections. You have a list from 5.2 of your resolves, and at number 6, an item to report, and that the clerk reported that ENC had appointed a consultant to deal with the planning application for the Ferrier site and also the federal estate site. The clerk has been liaising with consultants and has assisted with the approach to the Ferrier school regarding second access. If there are no questions, please may I move adoption. Councillor Whiting.
Thank you, Chair. It's just a point. It's not a question, but I think it's something the committee should be aware of. The first item on there at 8 Saffron Road, Hythe Ferries, I did receive a phone call from one of the residents in Hindstall, and she said the applicants actually described the application to them and asked what they thought, and they said at the time they thought overlooking. They were very concerned because of the balcony window with the Juliet balcony. Although they can't sit out there, they can actually look out there, and they wanted the view of the church. This actually will overlook this person's house. Now, she rang me to see if anything could be done, and I said we'd already discussed it and didn't make any comments. So she phoned up to Thrapston and said, why wasn't the objection on the website? And apparently, because they named the applicant when they put the objection in, you don't put, that's data protection, and they don't put that objection on the website. And I know Alicia always looks before we have a planning meeting to see if there's any objections. So that is a point worth knowing, that if somebody does name them, they don't put them up. I know there's nothing that we can do now. The resident's taking it up herself, and I think she was actually going to approach Councillor Jackson as ward member. But I just thought it's a point that everybody should be aware of.
No, absolutely. No, I think that's a really good piece of information. Thank you, Councillor.
Well, I didn't know that. And how many years that I've been on planning, you know. But
no, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. But I'd like to adopt the minutes anyway. So second the adoption.
I think Councillor Jackson had his hand up.
Yeah.
Actually, if I could just mention that, yes, the person, let's say the aggrieved person, did phone me, and I suggested that obviously it would not necessarily be going to the East Northants committee. It would be taken in by a member of the planning department, and she has contacted them. She got back to me and said, yes, you're quite right. It is being dealt with by in-house at East Northants. So she seemed to be reasonably happy about that. But Whether they're going to overcome the problem of overlooking, I don't know. But it's just a question of ease, not sense.
Thank you very much, Councillor Jackson. If there's nothing else, please may I move adoption of these minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a show of hands in all those in favour? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Gardner. 11.3 is the Environment and Recreation Committee held on the 12th of January 2021, which is on pages 26 to 27 in your agenda pack. These minutes are going to be presented by Councillor Redding.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I'd like to move the minutes of the meeting of the Environment and Recreation Committee held on Tuesday the 12th of January 2021 be received. Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Gardner. All in favour? Thank you very much. I'll just run through very quickly down to the resolve to recommend. Item 5, we had a resolve to recommend on the screening of cemetery soil stockpile. That the soil stockpile, I put my teeth back in after that, at the cemetery be screened with the placement of woven fence panels at the cost of £380. That prior to installation of the fence panels, the stockpile and the area around the stockpile be tidied to the satisfaction of the clerk. That was a resolve to recommend. If anybody's got any comments that they want to. Councillor Jackson was up first, I think.
Thank you. I have been round there at this moment in time, because obviously we are going to remove, or hopefully we're going to remove the bulk of that pile before the fencing goes up. But there is a certain amount of actual topsoil that has been placed there in front of the stockpile of sort of iron ore and rubbish. And I just wondered whether it's possible to consider getting one of the either attorneys or whoever to use that topsoil, the same as Paul Gadsby, former councillor Paul Gadsby's. If you remember, unfortunately, the grave was dug not alongside his brother, and of course they then requested that he be buried alongside his brother. And I noticed that both of them have settled considerably, and I just thought it would be very nice to, rather than get that cleared away with all the rubbish, to utilise that topsoil and raise those two cemetery graves.
Can I just answer? I had noticed there was nicer soil there. So when I'm getting a quote from attorneys, I am asking them to retain the topsoil, the nice topsoil on site, because obviously that is what we struggle to have enough of.
But likewise, it would be nice to fill that in, because it looks a little bit sad to see a sunken, because obviously it's not a grave, it's just the grave was dug and then backfilled, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think Councillor Prigmore, did you want to say something?
No, I'm all right now, thank you.
Okay. Well, it's been resolved to recommend. Can I have a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Jackson. And all in favour, please? I think that's unanimous. Thank you. I'll move to item 6, the creation of a path in the scattering of ashes area. And it was resolved to recommend that a slab path be laid into the scattering of ashes area at a budget cost of £650 from the Higham Ferrers improvement budget. That the type of slab and overall path dimensions be agreed by the assistant clerk in consultation with Councillor Reevy. The overall path dimensions would vary depending on which of the slabs that have been recommended to use. That's why we need to, for the assistant clerk and the mayor to have a look at that. Anybody got any comments or questions? No. Well, it's been resolved to recommend. Can I have a seconder? Councillor Thomas was there first. And all in favour? That looks unanimous. Thank you very much. I'm just wandering down there. I don't think, unless anybody's got any questions about any other item that's on the report the minutes? No. In that case, can I move adoption of the minutes of the meeting of the Environment and Recreation Committee held on Tuesday, the 12th of December 2021? Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Jackson. And all in favour? That looks like it's unanimous again. Thank you very much, councillors.
Thank you. Right, item 12 on the agenda is the review of the delegated powers. To extend the time period of the delegated powers given to the clerk as a response to the COVID-19 outbreak, with a review date of March 2021. I'm quite sure you're all aware of why we have to do this delegation of powers, but has anybody got any comment that they wish to make? In which case, can somebody propose that we extend the period of time? Thank you, Councillor Prigmore. Councillor Gardner, you've seconded it. Would all those in favour, will you please show hands? Thank you. Thank you very much. Right, item 13 on the agenda is consultation budget for North Northamptonshire Council. To agree a response to the consultation of the draft budget for North Northamptonshire Council, which is on page 28 in your agenda pack. Right, has anybody got any questions about this? Sandra, do you want to make any comment about it?
The only comment I did suggest is that we ask for a budget put in for the future maintenance and improvement of the Greenway, because part of the issues we've had over the years is that it's been no set body with a budget to actually undertake maintenance and improvement of the Greenway, and it's an opportunity going forward to actually get that put into the budget at the start. So hopefully we don't have the issues in future years with different authorities arguing over who's responsible because they don't want to spend any of their money.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Redding.
Sorry about that. The space bar doesn't seem to work. I take it from reading through this that there don't appear to be any responsibilities or budget responsibilities that are being devolved downwards, which is what I thought was going to happen. It looks to me like everything that the county and the district did is going to be held by the unitary. Is that true?
As I understand it at this stage, yes. I was at a meeting where the new chief executive for the North Northants Council was there, and very refreshing, I would have to say. He does understand how town and parish councils work and will be looking to work with us, but there will be some work they need to look at, because, for example, you have in Kettering where the play areas are looked after by the borough council at the moment, and there's concerns by the town and parishes in that area that they're going to be given the play areas to look after, but then in essence, then the whole of North Northamptonshire is paying to look after the play areas, for example, in Kettering. So there is going to have to be some issues such as that looked at, and it might be at the end of the day there will be things for us to do, but in our area we do already undertake quite a lot of the things that aren't undertaken by town and parishes in other areas, and the play areas was one example, and I think cemeteries is another one that sometimes rears its head. So I think that's how it is going to be on the 1st of April, but I wouldn't commit to years ahead that it's going to stay the same and things aren't devolved downwards. And I think that's what's happened in Cornwall. Gradually, things have been moved downwards.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Gardner.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Yeah, it was something I completely agree with there, Sandra. We've had the Greenway come on Environment and Rec on and off quite a few times, and I think it's something that we do need to be adding to, considering, like we've said, we've looked at it on Environment and Rec and looked at, you know, how to keep it the Greenway and the maintenance costs involved and going forward. And, you know, with it growing as much as it does, the maintenance involved in such a thing is quite a hefty maintenance. So I think we should think about having that proposal put there. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Right, thank you. So would anybody like to make a proposal? Well, I shall do it then. That we agree to the response for the consultation of the draft budget of North Northamptonshire, with the addition to comments about the Greenway. Could I have a seconder, please? Councillor Gardner. And all those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, thank you. Right, item 14 on the agenda is the grant applications for 2021 to 2022. To consider the following grant applications for 2021-22, which is on pages 30 to pages 45. Now 14.1 is the Hythe Ferries Tourism for £900.
Can I just first of all ask Councillor Jackson, are you not taking part in the vote on this one?
Well, I see no point in taking part in it.
It's just I need to put you in the waiting room if I'm to be clear, so I'll just do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
no problem.
Okay. Right. So has anybody got any comments to make about the £900 request for a grant from the Hythe Ferries Tourism? Councillor Redding. Thank
Sorry
you.
about that again. I still can't find the space bar to work. I take it from this that they're planning some summer events that they want help with financing for, not just the Sparkler. Is that correct?
I guess they are planning some events, but we don't ever pay out in advance anyway. We pay out against receipts that they give to us. So even if you agree it, if the events don't go ahead, we don't pay anything out.
Right, thank you. Anybody else got any questions? All right. In which case, would somebody like to propose that we... Thank you, Councillor Redding.
Is that proposing we approve it?
Yes, sorry.
Yes, sorry, go on, Councillor Redding.
No, I was going to propose it, that's all, Madam Mayor.
Right. That we give Hythe Ferries Town Council a grant for £900. Have we got a seconder for that? Councillor O'Rourke. And all those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, thank you.
Right, I'll bring back
Yes, Councillor Jackson. Right. So are you now taking out Councillor Whiting?
yes.
That's all right. I don't care.
Right, thank you. Right, the second grant application is from Rushton and Hythe Ferries Cricket Club for £1,500. Has anybody got any comments that they'd like to make about this? Councillor Prigmore.
Okay, thank you, Lady Mayor. I have looked into it. I did argue this last time. Currently, the Rushton and Hythe Ferries Cricket Club has £21,248 in the bank, with a current £3,000 to pay out in outstanding bills. They consistently make payments to players. There was a payment of a transfer of £31,539 was transferred. When we asked the question as to where this went, the answer was this was used to pay the suppliers for the purchases detailed in question 2. There is no detail, or at least there's no detail in the notes. So we have asked how much the players get paid. Again, we have, as far as I understand, we have received nothing. and they received grants to pay for repairs to the cricket pitch. But likewise, none of this was obviously used on the Higham Ferries cricket pitch. And as it stands at the moment, we've got £21,000 in their bank. So the question has to be asked is, should we be paying somebody who's got £21,000 in their bank account? Thank you.
Thank you. Sandra, would you like to make some comments?
Yeah, I just wanted, I mean, the 31,000 that was transferred to the nationwide account was used to, it is in the papers. They received grants, which they obviously put the grant money into the nationwide account from which they pay their capital projects. And they paid them for new net facilities, scoreboard and ground perimeter fencing at which I presume is at Rushden. I can't see how you could say that the money we gave for ground work is not spent on time, because it's not differentiated out in the accounts. I mean, they prepare the wicket each week when they play, and they will have things like sand, loam, seed to buy is what they will use it, and that will just appear as one item, which would be for both grounds. So I don't think we could say that. And in terms of players, they do normally, as I said, they have, like bigger clubs do have overseas professionals, and that's what they've been paying for in previous years. Obviously last year there wasn't a professional over because of the COVID situation.
Thank you, Sandra. Has anybody else got anything they wish to say? Right, sorry, Councillor Redding.
I was a bit quicker on muting this time. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I mean, in the past, we've always asked for a certain sum, and we've, I think, roughly £1,500. We've always given them half of that. I'm wondering whether that's a possibility for this year. I don't know what other councillors would think.
So is that a proposal, Councillor Redding?
I can make it a proposal, Madam Mayor. I was just wondering whether it would elicit some commentary.
Sorry, can I just bring Councillor Gardner in before we take it then, Councillor Redding?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If that was a proposal from Councillor Redding, I was willing to second that proposal, Councillor Redding.
Can I suggest, if that is the proposal, that instead of paying it out, we usually pay these costs out in April, but due to the uncertainty of how much will actually be played this year with COVID, I mean, like last year, perhaps we pay it more towards the end of the season, like August time.
Yeah. Yes, that sounds quite. Can you add that into your proposal, Councillor Redding?
I can, if I can propose that we pay £750 in a grant to the cricket club, and that is paid towards the end of the season, depending on whether or not they have played in the forthcoming season.
Thank you. And that proposal was seconded by Councillor Gardner. All those in favour, would you please show your hand? That's all right. And against?
Against.
Councillor Prigmore and Councillor Spencer.
How did Councillor Mantle vote?
I think she was for. Councillor Mantle, did you vote for 4?
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That is carried.
Right, thank you. Sorry, there wasn't any abstentions, was there?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Right, okay. Item 15 on the agenda is the memorial bench. To consider a request for a memorial bench to be located at Nightingale Way play area, which is on pages 49 in your agenda pack. Right. Has anybody got any comments they'd like to make on this? Councillor Jackson, I see your hand.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, can I wait? I must admit.
Oh, sorry, I must readmit Councillor Whiting. Yes. Sorry. So welcome back, Councillor Whiting.
Oh, thank you.
We've just gone on to item 15, which is the memorial bench to consider requests for a memorial bench to be located at Nightingale Way play area, which is on page 49 in your agenda pack. And Councillor Jackson was about to make a comment.
The person who's actually applied for this, his mother evidently lived in Elizabeth Way, and the reason for saying obviously Nightingale was because, as he said, he tends to walk past. Well, one or two of the alternatives, Saffron Road, etc., he's not likely to be walking past them. So I just wonder whether we'd considered either the Kestrel Drive. I'd never know whether to call it a park, recreation area, because it's a long strip of rock, but it does stretch all the way up to Nightingale Road. So there is one position that it could be put there, because it is actually on what we designate as a park area, the Kestrel Drive Park, or in Nightingale Road, close to Station Road, there is an area on the opposite side of the road that is almost similar to a small mini park. That's another position that you could consider if you're not, because obviously the problem with putting it in the Nightingale Park, we're going to have 3 more seats made out of the oak, and we've already got benches in this children's area. So why don't we consider that way it is, or an alternative, once again, Elizabeth Way has several areas of green, large areas, so it could actually be in the same area where his mother lived. That is, I don't know what the situation is regarding putting it in a road rather than in a park.
Thank you. Anybody else like to make a comment? Councillor Redding.
Yes, Madam Mayor. I was just going to wonder, I mean, the area in Elizabeth Way, I'm not sure. I mean, on one side we've got, is it sheltered housing? I'm not quite sure whether we know it. I mean, you wouldn't be able to put it on the path. You'd have to put it on the piece of land there. Who actually owns that piece of land? I assume it's owned by whoever owns those properties along there.
That I don't know.
Neither does the clerk of Oaks of it.
No, I mean, it may well be, if it's Spire Homes, it may be Spire Homes land. So an approach would need to, the resident would then need to approach them rather than us.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with Councillor Jackson that would be the most suitable place, especially given the general age of the people who live in those houses, that some benches, a bench, 2 benches or whatever along there would actually be of use to them. But there is a question of who owns the piece of land that they could go on to.
Yeah. Right. Councillor Jackson, did you have your hand up again?
Well, it's just that obviously in Elizabeth Way, there was an item I suppose 2 or 3 years ago now, where there was one section that wasn't being cut because that didn't belong to whoever. But of course, we are cutting the grass in other areas, so that surely the Kestrel Drive, at the top of the Kestrel Drive, would be the most suitable, because presumably we have control over Kestrel Drive. We are inspecting it, so we need our town clerk to say whether in fact we own that Kestrel or whether it is a land management.
No, that we own Kestrel Drive open space.
So to my mind, that would be the most suitable area. It's close enough to that area. At least it's in that area that he'll be walking past, presumably, rather than Saffron Road, where it's miles away from.
And I presume, Councillor Jackson, that there, like you said, there aren't very many benches in that area for residents to use anyway, is there?
Well, we have one lower down, about halfway down the Kestrel Drive.
Right.
Which is, as I said, it's like a mini, it's supposed to be a mini children's park, but it's not really. It's one of the developers' way of providing the green open space, but in actual fact, it just, a lot of the children, I think, are they prefer them to go along to the main park.
Right, okay, thank you. Can we leave it, Sandra, that you would actually look into the possibility of it going there and Kestrel Drive?
If the council's happy for it to go on that area, we can go back to the resident who's asked and said it's a no to Nightingale Way, and what about this area?
Yeah, I think if we say to him that Nightingale Way is going to have 3 of the bench seats from the oak tree, and it's already got benches in the play area, that it might be a bit too many, but offer him Kestrel Way to see what his opinion is there.
Yeah.
So if that is a proposal, that we ask Sandra to communicate with him to say that actually in theory we don't object to him having a bench in that area, but not on Nightingale Way. Would anybody like to second that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. And all those in favour, would you please show hands? All right, I think that's carried. Anybody against? Right, thank you. Right, item 16 on the agenda is the boundary hedge and access to the open space to the rear of Bede Close. To consider action further to correspondence received with regard to the hedge to the boundary of 10 Bede Close and access to the open space to the rear of Bede Close. You'll find this on pages 50 to 61 in your agenda pack. Has anybody got anything that they'd like to say about this? Councillor O'Rourke.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes. Well, I've been round there the weekend anyway and had a look at it. Well, I've been past it several times anyway, but that hedge there, I always think it's all, it says here it's had some winter cutting or something like that, but it still to me looks very untidy and scruffy anyway. And I don't understand, and probably somebody could actually tell me why there is a right of way there anyway past someone's driveway and that sort of thing. It seems, you know, a strange place for a walk through anyway to me. And I just wondered why it was, you know, why it's been designated as such. And the grass area, I mean, you have to walk across the grass. It wouldn't be bad if there were little, you know, little footpaths that sort of, you know, that made it look like it was a walk through there. But I wouldn't personally ever think it would be a walkway at all, because it doesn't look anything like one.
I think, can I just say, I mean, it's nothing to do with the greenway that cut throughs there. This goes back to when the open space was handed over to the town council when the development was built. I guess there was a little cut through there to allow residents of that road to get through to the open space behind, and that's simply what it is. Not.
Prior to the greenway.
Yeah, this goes back to prior to my time with the council when the open space was adopted by the town council and the development was constructed. So that on the land registry plans has always been there as a sort of walkthrough, and I would guess it's just for the residents of Bede Close so they could get through to the open space.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Jackson, you had your hand up.
Yes. There used to be a path, okay, it wasn't a very good path, that was between obviously the developers' houses with the rear gardens and also the factory that has at this moment in time being demolished, their fence line. It's always been a path. There is only this one, because one or two people have said there are other access. In obviously Williamsdale Way, you have two similar access, a lot larger than this one, to that what used to be a footpath going along the back of these buildings, the housing, and this presumably is exactly the same for this particular one. It's just a question of getting to the rear of those properties. Obviously, we are considering updating the next section of phase 2 of our Greenway. We're going to spend quite a bit of money, and the only access from this particular street is through that access. Otherwise, you have to go into William Steele Way and go round. In other words, you could be going back on yourself. It's always been an open access, but unfortunately, the hedge has been allowed to grow so that it's suddenly made it look as if it was a no-go area. But anyway, I'll see what the rest of the people say.
Thank you. Councillor Prigmore?
Firstly, a question for Sandra. Is it a legal footpath for a start off with, or is it a footpath that has just been inserted by people walking through the hedge over the years? And secondly, the additional correspondence, the resident objects to an amendment to the gap.
Well, I know Alicia's been dealing more with this. She can comment on the correspondence. It's not a right of way, as it's not on the definitive map, but it is part of the public open space, that gap. If you look on the land registry maps that we've given to you, you can see there is a gap there. And that as if you look at page 55 and 56, you can see the maps. And it's part of the open space, so it's just a piece of grass area that you can walk through.
So legally, can we shut it down, or can anybody legally shut it down?
If it's open space, it could be grass, or if it's landscape. If it's landscaped as such, if it was a shrub bed, you wouldn't expect, and it's still part of the open space, you wouldn't expect to walk through there.
But it is a walkway.
It depends how it's landscaped. It is a walkway, because that's what it looks like on it. That's what it is on the maps, but it's just the way it's been landscaped. I haven't got the original landscaping plans.
So in theory, we would need to cut all the hedge back to open up the original walkway that was legally there and cannot legally then be shut.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I would say on the maps it looks like it's part of our open space, and so you can walk through there.
And therefore we can't put a fence up there either.
I would say that it's not on the definitive right of way. So you could put a fence at the bottom of it, and so the open space can only be accessed from the back of it, but you couldn't block up at. It's
you can't block off access.
Well, you can put a fence up, because it's not. You could put a fence up where the tarmac footpath finishes, so then you can only access the open space from behind, but it doesn't stop anybody climbing over the fence.
Never. Well, the fences never do. That's the problem with fences.
Exactly.
The question at the end of the day is can the gap be legally blocked off or not? And what has the other correspondent said that they want to happen?
I would guess that they just don't want it.
Want me to clarify that?
I think if I can ask Alicia to clarify this one.
So the letters that have come in are all seeking the closure of the gap that would be the access through. So they're seeking a small picket fence along one side of the boundary to number 10, and then they want to block the access at the end with larger sort of close board fencing. So
I would like to put a fence up down the end of my road to stop cars from driving up and down it, but that doesn't mean I can legally do it.
Right.
Does it?
Councillor Jackson, would you like to come in, please?
If I may, thank you, Mayor. I'm a little bit concerned about this, because obviously there are two, admitted they're much larger, at William Steele Way, that link with this land belongs to Higham Town Council in both cases, in this one and also in William Steele Way. And I'm a bit concerned that if we block, and this is the only access to the Greenway. Now, we've spent a lot of money on phase 1 of the Greenway. We're proposing to spend a certain amount of money on the next, bringing up to date the next phase of it. And yet we're considering stopping off all the people, other people, apart from possibly, these houses were built with this 10-foot gap. Why was that 10-foot gap left? Presumably, so they had access to that area. And yet we're considering blocking it off. Now, what concerns me is if you block this one off, quite possibly the residents in William Steele Way will say, that's a good idea, let's block these off as well. And so all of a sudden, the children in that area won't have access to that greenway, which leads up to the Ferrers School.
No, thank you. Councillor Whiting, you had your hand up for a while.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I mean, I walk this part of the Greenway regularly. I mean, I do it most Sunday afternoons. And when you're walking along there, you wouldn't even know that there was a right of way through there. I've stood and I've looked, and I mean, you can see the fence, you can see the bin, but you'd never know that it was a right of way. You've got two big accesses, as Councillor Jackson said, into Bede Close, and they were there in the original.
William Steele Way. No, William Steele, not Bede Close. There's only that one into Bede.
In William Steele Way.
It's William Steele Way.
In William Steele Way, you've got two exits out onto the Greenway, which were put there when the development was built as a way through for the children to get to the Ferrers School. You've got two big gaps there. When you walk along, you would never know that there was a right of way down between these two houses. And quite honestly, I think it's the biggest waste of time, you know, really, to think that it's only for the benefit of people who live in Bede Close. And they're the only ones who would even know it was there. And I think if we can possibly get it closed off, the better. And I just hope the two ladies who are sitting here on the meeting tonight agree. But I just think it's a ridiculous small space.
Thank you. Councillor Gardner.
Yeah, as normal, I'm going to play devil's advocate and put a spanner in the works. Everything that I've been doing with the PCSO and the police, we've got problems down at the Parkaway end for things like this. It's the Greenway is being hijacked, for want of a better word, with motorbikes and making it a getaway route. I completely agree with Councillor Whiting on this one. I don't see any purpose to opening it up and I worry the fact that we already have enough crime down there. It's a beautiful space, it's a beautiful idea, but we do have a good quality of crime down there, from antisocial, from drinking, from drug taking, and everything else that's going down there that is currently being investigated, and they're using this as a rat run. The last thing we need is another rat run created to slip through, because at the moment it's like PCSO states, when you're trying to get somebody that's done a crime, they know all these little rat runs. And I've lived in the centre of Northampton, and believe you me, it's the worst thing you can do is create rat runs, because once it's identified and the criminal use it, it don't matter if you put a fence up there or what, it will be used forever. That's my comments. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Gardner. Sandra, is there a possibility that instead of taking the hedge out, you could add more shrubs to fill the end in? Yeah, to add shrubs to it rather than take them out.
I'd have to go and have another look at it, really, to do that.
Sorry, perhaps I should ask Alicia. Do you mind, Sandra, if Alicia comes in here?
Yeah, you could add shrubs to the end. So where I was sort of saying the residents were seeking sort of close board fencing at the end, instead of having fencing, you could extend the hedge so that the hedge blocked the access through. I think the resident is still looking to have the hedge that runs down the boundary removed and a picket fence put in, but you could have hedging extended along the length at the end to block it off.
Right, okay, thank you. Councillor Spencer, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to say I fully agree with Councillor Whiting and Councillor Gardner on this. Rat runs, in my experience and time, are
nothing but trouble. You've only got to look at Hemingway and Queensway in Wellingborough, and I'll rest my case on it.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Mantle, you wanted to say something?
There we are. No, I agree. I disagree with them all. I think it should be left as it is. It was built like that for the children to go through, and I think it should be left like that and for people to be able to get onto the Greenway. I'm sorry, I'm against that, what the others were saying.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Mantle. Councillor Thomas, did you want to come in?
Yes, please, Madam Mayor. This is a right of way, and I think a good idea would be to consult the residents of Beed Close, see if they want to maintain that right of way. And really, it is there for the residents, and we really should take into account their points of view. That's my proposal.
Right, thank you, Councillor Thomas. Right, has anybody else want to make a comment? Councillor Prigmore?
I think the main question is that if it is a right of way and it was placed there as a right of way, firstly, we cannot remove it. It is a right of way. Secondly, I fully understand what people say about wetlands. They're all over the place. But if you put a hedge there, it ain't going to stop nothing. They'll just go straight. They'll just pile straight through the hedge. The only way you stop it being a rat run is by putting a 10-foot metal fence there. That ain't going to happen. And thirdly, I think we need to be careful that we're not setting a precedence. That one, we are allowing residents to move whatever hedge they feel they want to move and put in a fence wherever they want, and that the council, take that back, the rest of the ratepayers of the town are going to pay for it. And I think this is setting very dangerous precedents that will come back at us if we're not careful.
Oh, thank you. Councillor Thomas, you put a proposal on the table there, didn't you?
Moot.
Yeah, sorry, Madam Mayor, I couldn't unmute there.
It's all right.
Yes, I put my proposal forward.
So could you repeat the proposal, please, to see if we...
Yes, I think we should consult the residents of Beed Close as to, if we need to ask them if they would like that right of way maintained, because I think the right of way was put in there for those residents. So yeah, that's my proposal, if it could be appropriately worded.
Okay, would anybody like to second that proposal?
Second that.
Right, Councillor Jackson seconds it. All those in favour, would you please show hands?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Right, thank you. And those against, please show your hand.
Okay, right. Okay.
Thank you. So Alicia, can we leave it with you to approach the residents of Beed Close? Thank you. Right, item 17 on the agenda is the urban highway grass mowing 2021. To resolve to enter Section 183 agreement with the Northamptonshire County Council for verge mowing for 2021. Right, Sandra, did you want to talk about this?
No, this is something we do every year. It's the money we get from County Council towards the maintenance of the verges. They pay for 3 cuts, but we actually pay for 8 cuts. So we actually subsidise it. It's continuing. Well, they've asked us to submit the applications. So I take it that it is continuing for 21-22. As to whether it will continue thereafter, that'll be down to the new unitary authority.
Okay, right, thank you. So can we have a proposer then to enter into an agreement, Section 138 agreement with Northampton County Council? Councillor Prigmore, have we got a seconder, please? Councillor Thomas, All those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, thank you. Item 18 on the agenda is Greenway Phase 2 to agree contractor for the works on the Greenway Phase 2, which is on page 62 to 65 in your agenda pack.
As you can see, I've actually quite struggled to get quotes for this one. I mean, we should have 3. I went out to 5 different companies, got 2 back, chased the others, and one of them came back, and because they didn't get the previous work, they didn't want to quote again. So I then went back to the quotes we had for the original works, because one of them actually did broke down a piecemeal, and I did as close as I could, took their sort of area rates for different elements of it to come up with as near as I could a quote on that. I did copy the quotes A and B because I was a bit concerned. One of them did put the quote in the format that I'd asked and broken it right down. The other one didn't, and that is the one that's slightly cheaper, and that does concern me that there might be elements that I think are included and are not included, even though they've been given quite detailed specifications.
Okay, thank you. So you're saying that tender A might not give as much as tender B because he hasn't specified what he's going to do. Is that correct?
Yeah. And when I met him on site, I would have to say I wasn't quite as confident.
Okay, thank you.
Because he had all the drawings, the drawings were proper drawings drawn up by Kia to the previous one, and some of the questions that are getting it. I mean, they're both contractors we've used before, so that they are, contractors who are qualified, but it did just concern me slightly, and they are very, in my view, they're very close, and I would prefer to go with tender B on the basis of I feel more comfortable that we're not going to suddenly get hit. Oh, I've forgotten to put this in.
Yeah.
Quote.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Councillor Prigmore.
Can I propose then that we go with the recommendation of the town clerk?
Can I just see what Councillor Thomas wanted to say? Was he going to say the same?
Yes, I was, Madam Mayor.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
So would you second Councillor Prigmore then, please, Councillor?
Can I ask something?
Sorry.
Can I ask something? Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. It's probably on tender A. I notice it says plus VAT, but tender B doesn't say plus VAT, or even on their thing plus VAT. But I presume it is plus VAT, or are they not VAT registered?
Yeah, they are. It will be plus VAT.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
We claim the VAT back anyway.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just wondered what it was.
Thank you. Councillor Paul, did you want to make a comment?
Yes. Do we not want to give tender A the opportunity to clarify what's in their tender, just to erase any anomalies that you think they might have, Sandra? Just because, I mean, £1,000 is £1,000 at the end of the day. But if we're more confident going with tender B, then I'm happy to join the masses, so to speak.
I think Sandra,
after meeting them on site and having, even though they got really detailed drawing, having to probably keep explaining the drawings to them. I think that it was a combination of 2 things: the fact that their quote isn't detailed, and the fact that I've felt they hadn't really looked at the drawings properly when I went out on site to meet them. And as to what they needed to do, I feel more comfortable with the other one on that.
Okay, no, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have got a proposal on the table.
Can I ask a question?
Sorry, where are you, Beth? Oh, yeah, sorry.
I've been holding my hand up.
Sorry, Councillor Jackson. Yeah.
This is actually regarding the actual footpath. What is the width that they're quoting on? Is it the same as the phase one?
Yes, the specification is exactly the same as the first phase.
And the second question I'd like to ask, I know you don't want to say which contractor is A or B or whatever. The contractor we had from Blackwell up to phase 5, which was Ray Bells, are they one of any of those?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're one of those contractors, as is the contractor who did the first.
Right, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because they were, in my mind, they were exceptionally good value for money, but whether they made a mistake or not, I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to make a comment? Because we have got a proposal on the table. Councillor Rock, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, just a question. The clerk said you've used them both before, haven't you?
Yeah.
The one for, and on the one for tender A, has the work, you know, I've used them more than once or twice for the Greenway, you mean, I presume?
No, for other works within the town.
Okay, but not for Greenway.
Not
tender A.
You're trying to find out the contractor.
No, I just wondered whether, because you said that you know about you use them. I said, just wondered whether they've been used for a Greenway. That's all.
No, they've been used for other footpath works in the town.
Okay, fine, that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay, right, thank you. So there is a proposal on the table, and I can't remember who proposed it. Was it Councillor Prigmore, seconded by Councillor Thomas?
Yes.
That we go with the town clerk's gut feelings with this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I come away from the site meeting thinking, I'm not sure about this, and then got the quote in. I thought,
yeah, okay. You need to be secure that you're going to get what you've asked for, and if it's been itemised, then you can be. So the proposal is that we go with the town clerk's gut feeling and probably go with tender B, and it's been seconded by Councillor Thomas. So all those in favour, would you please show hands? Right, that's unanimous, I think. Thank you.
I will tell you now that that is the one who did the first phase as well.
All right. So does that make you any happier then, Councillor Jackson?
Yeah.
Apart from the cracks that have appeared in the phase 1, but a lot of that was ground heave because of the bushes, I feel.
Okay. Right. Item 19 on the agenda. Is appointment of a police liaison representative. To appoint a police liaison representative to act as a single point of contact with Northamptonshire Police. Is this our hotline to the police then, is it? Right. Right.
Cornwall, it'll be.
Councillor Whiting, you'd like to say something?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think we've got one applicant here who fits the bill quite considerably. Already doing part of the job anyway, and I'd like to nominate Councillor Gardner. I'm sure she'd be willing to do it.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I think a lot of people are seconding that, so Alicia. So all
Thank you very much.
Would you please show hands? Right. Councillor Paul, I can't see. That's it. Thank you. That's it. Right. Item 20. Sorry. Welcome, Angela, to your new job.
Thank you very much.
And item 20 on the agenda is items to report. An opportunity for councillors to report items and to request future agenda items. No decisions can be made under this item. Has anybody got anything that they wish to report? Councillor Gardner.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. It's not necessarily to report, I'd like to perhaps have on the next agenda. I've noticed that we're having a lot of requests for benches and memorials under the whole COVID umbrella. And I would like to perhaps put a seed of thought that we do something as a town council, whether that be one single piece, I don't know what the correct pronunciation would be, not a bench, but a memorial or something that could be a central point. This has been such a massive thing that's hit every single town and parish. And I think it's only right that perhaps we should think about a future agenda item to do that, because I'm sure we're still going to get requests. And I think our town needs to know that we think of every single person we've lost. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gardner. Thank you. Right. Has anybody else got anything they wish to report? Right, thank you. Well, just thank you very much for attending the meeting, and stay safe, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, good
night.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.